Next chapter, the practice. Slow down, rebuild, do better. Think, reflect, analyze, create. How do I want to place my practice in the fashion system? What is my driving force? What ignites my thoughts and creativity? Take something out of context. Question, analyze, reconsider. I need to start making again, with fabric in my hands. What the fuck interests me anymore? I lose interest straight away. It's too much information. I cannot take any more in. It's like my brain rejects the input. But it might have to do with the input, that it is of non-interest anymore. Maybe I got to start fucking up what I got already. Maybe I need to imagine an utopia. What the fuck is that? The human hand, the human aspect. You should feel uncomfortable with your work. It means it's something new. Dream suits. Am I truly a closet activist or am I just a scam? Where are my skills? Ideas for exhibition. Transforming the room, thinking white cube. A longing for a perfect post-semiotic and ultimately post-capitalistic void. Gathering together to experience something moving as a community. You will be fortunate in anything you put your hands to. Drape on dummy wall floor than dip in paint fully sculptures. Far from being a frivolous subject, fashion is the supreme expression of the contemporary spirit. The gowns, why? And not to haute couture, to the beginning, as a recharge, as an image of taking time, the focus of one rather than multiples, as a study. Or what though? Or my practice? What is my practice? Where do I want to take my practice? Where is the focus, the core? What are the values? What is its reason to be? Deconstructing my practice, what to look at? Chance methodology, draping, the fold, the suit, undressing through dressing, the pinstripe, casual wear, sport, the baroque, hyper-feminine, the mishaps, raw inside. Work in contradictions. Couture silhouette with trash opposing materials, recognizable gown silhouettes and sportswear. Laminate cheap lace with plastic. Think MA testing with heavy interlining creating shapes. Bondweb lace together. Create wearable paintings. 3D to 2D. Angela de la Cruz. Shown on body in couture show, hung on wall as piece of art, or placed as a sculpture on a pedestal. Make the space, the art, a beautiful whole. Drapery, used as a kind of proscenium intermediating between the fictive and real worlds, was merely one of many Baroque devices that served to create the almost hallucinatory relationship between past and present that is hallmark of the period. The juxtaposition could hardly be more abrupt, and through it the elaborate chapel is revealed for what it truly is, a vast and complex artifice that embodies the historical as well as the contemporary significance of the physically insignificant but spiritually infinite image. This mutually reinforcing contrapposto of form and content is an essential component of the style we call Baroque, a term used by the neoclassicists and by the then less is more modernists as a pejorative reference to what were regarded as the style's uncontrolled excesses of form and expression. Meretriciously corrupt narration, ornamentation, and sentimentality, the lordly racket of the Baroque, to borrow Panofsky's wonderful phrase, for which the style was vilified. It led Frank Stella to rediscover one of the most profound innovations of the Baroque, namely the interactions between medium and space, notably painting and sculpture, and architecture as the situation required. The fusion of which gave the work a kind of existence in the real world it had never had before. Bernini stated, to unify architecture with paintings and sculpture in such a way as to make of them all a beautiful whole. Despite its commercial manipulation, fashion reaches deep into the works of art, not simply exploiting them. Thursday, 30th of January 2020. Woke up feeling annoyed and anxious, restless. How can I use this emotion in today's work? Maybe through working big with fabric. Finishing the lace bonding fabric idea, webbing strips of lace together on top of sheets of lace. Sitting trimming lace, prepping for bonding pieces together. Thoughts on lace. The colors are pastel and sweet, and I want to combine them to create an absolute, overwhelmingly sickening sweetness. Cannot be sweeter, cuter. I feel an anger towards this representation of the feminine. Why? Is it even interesting? Are we still there? Is there a clear difference in how men and women represent themselves? Is there still a need to empower traditional feminine codes? Is it working against myself even, giving lace a female character? What's lace got to do with it? Should I involve the use of chance methodology in every gown? Could it be that whatever I start must be reworked to become a finished result? No toiles, working on top, fixing and document on a crucial level. Talk to whatever becomes and be reflective and critical. Monetary fuck up. For exhibition, make one-off tees with elements from each gown. One tee belonging to each gown. Merch, more easily available, more easily sold. Fuck money. If there should be a couture show, there should be a writing to each gown with information. Think Charles James, his half-toiles. Girlishness, what about it? How do I want to fold girlishness? Is it something positive? Of course, why not? Girls are just gender. Got nothing to do with positive or negative. Think femi, how hyperfemininity becomes power. The fabric can be hyper-feminine, but how it is worked with must portray an inner strength. Friday, 31st of January 2020. Looking at the fabric made yesterday, the hyper-feminine lace sheet, there is something there, just not sure how it should be used in the best manner. What works with it? The combination of the pastel colors and different combinations of the lace, it creates to me a hyper-sickening cute girlishness. Points to my work where the feminine is objectified, the weaker sex suppressed. How can I use it to empower the girlishness? With what should I combine it with to change its inherent value? How can I turn it cute into tough and cool? And why is this important, to be tough and cool? Cute is actionless. Cute plays on vulnerability, as in something to be aided and cuddled with. Vulnerability is a strong emotion. Daring to be vulnerable shows strength, daring to put one's emotions, fears and feelings out there. Monday, 3rd of February 2020. Second gown contemplated on today. Been looking at collage sketches from MA, the jersey gown. Emphasize the careless cool, the oversized and chill, the fall off and pull, fucking elegance. Portraying force and activeness. For a greater good, not just for the fucking individual. How should I develop it on from both MA and into the fold? More volume and shoulders than MA, and more refined than into the fold. What am I looking at here? Emphasizing the carelessness but elaborating drapery, or scrunching, my own terminology for draping. Yes, do go back there but forward from the skill making. Mixing college jersey, football jersey, silk taffeta, make outstanding, asphalt pedestal-like. Realization, not reflection, Proust's method in À la recherche de temps perdu, according to Benjamin. Tuesday, 4th of February 2020. Thinking deconstruction of AKT. What does that enhance? What does that look like? The fold, the suit, the female, the feminine, the jersey, the jewelry, the pinstrap and suiting fabrics. Thinking actual pieces for the exhibition, gowns and two-piece gowns that have been translated into 2D wall pieces. Blurring the line between functionality, non-functionality and fashion art craft. The shoulders, undressing the woman through dressing, not a nude but naked. Deconstruction in fashion amounts to an anti-fashion statement, a willful avant-garde desire to destroy fashion, or an expression of nihilism, absence of belief. The name deconstruction has been quite self-consciously embraced as a form of criticism to uncover the instabilities. Destruction becomes a process of analytical creation. Fashion is now the general modern condition of all Western clothing. Deconstruction in fashion is something like an auto-critique of the fashion system. It displays an almost X-ray capability to reveal the enabling conditions of fashion's bewitching charms and the principle of its practice. The garment maker is simultaneously forming and deforming, constructing and destroying, making and undoing clothes. Monday, 10th of February 2020. Treat the project as a deconstruction of my practice. Isolate each subject I keep reusing and previously listed. Aim for 10. Tuesday, 11th of February 2020. Gone through my fabrics now, not getting anything except from the pink and the lace. These are the only fabrics feeling fresh somehow, and the lining. Then there's a pile of suiting materials and some pinstripe. So what is it about the suit I want to investigate? How is it relevant? Should it be deconstructed, and how should that go about? If I think about deconstructing as a statement of anti-fashion, what does that mean really? What do I want to critique? There are some masculine traits that I value, such as power, strength, anger, endurance, confidence. What does this look like from a feminine perspective? Heck, how can I use the suit and its recognizable traits, but in a clear feminine manner? Or should it be about masculinity and femininity even? Or simply about destroying the old notions that the suit carries? That somehow still belongs to the male. The male suit is heavily built up, emphasizing a male ideal body shape and power codes, such as strict and visible shoulders, narrow waist, elegance, power, proper, success, being on top of the world. So then I open up a suit jacket, moving it along to the inside, I guess. What is it about the inside? What do I see? Raw edges, interlining, lining, horsehair, many different stitches, as in types and color, no overlock. Even if you have to make a living, should that alone justify just churning out stuff that sells but already exists elsewhere? Or do we not have a responsibility, if we are to create our name or brand, to present our own vision? Something we at least believe matters other than commercially. Subtly sexy rather than explicitly sexy. Remember the element of punk as well as feminine details, raw edges, athleticism. What about the plastic elements? When working with a lace, think wedding dress, wedding cake, overtly girlish. The superwoman element, what is that? Wednesday, 12th of February 2020. After looking at old Mead and Kirchhoff, work with fabric manipulation. Suit trousers in curvy curve from scraps placed on top of bays in muslin as a link to the canvas. With the lining, make the garment use additional raw edges and wash it to soften and tangle. The commercial aspect of the exhibition could be the trousers and one-off tees. The wall piece gown should be completely free. Go back to the fold, plus details. Today I'm going to have a 3-hour draping session after yoga, document it and go for a walk into town, reflect. I'm going back into the fold. Is that the title? The language of political, sexual and class resistant. The affinity for counterculture styles that's operated as a license for a postmodern two-way practice of appropriation, parody and sign entropy. That is in keeping with a broader postmodern strategy of raiding fashion history and popular culture as an eclectic source of reinvention. The function of the piece is reimagined. In that deconstruction has been defined very generally as a practice of undoing. Deconstructionist fashion liberates the garment from functionality by literally undoing it. Derrida said, deconstruction can never be said to be only one thing. Making. Draping session 2 hours, printing out documentation and references. Test actual fastening for transitions body to wall and adjustable fit. Should an actual wearable commercial garment be removable from the canvas or wall piece? Should one gown be mainly only transition 2D to 3D in canvas? Angela de la Cruz. Thursday, 13th of February 2020. For if deconstruction is to be called a method, it is to promote deconstruction as a repeatable formula, as a united project and an entity in itself, something that is at odds with the practice of reading and writing, which only comes to presence in and through a process of interaction with the operational terms of the text at hand. Deconstruction takes place. It is an event. It deconstructs itself. It can be deconstructed, to lose its construction. A conversation on deconstruction is itself deconstructible. The problem of presenting deconstruction as a unified project. What does it mean when I say this project is a deconstruction of my practice? What do? I relook at my produced content. but also at the values of the practice, its reason to be. But is it for me or for others? Am I ready to find anything? To analyze and comment? What is the purpose? What is the fucking purpose? I cannot find the fucking purpose. The drive is not a drive anymore, struggling to get into it, the want, why, dwelling. Realizing a deconstructive thinking in the process of making clothes. Fashion's modus operandi, fighting to be both historical and innovative. Fucking hate the word. Bring the attention back to the content, fold, and what it is or does. Seamlessness through seams. Implicit in Margiela's making and its logistics of patterns, darts, facings, and seams is a making always present as wearing. A notion of the living body as a configuring subjectivity informs the use of the word wearing in this article. Wearing as a process of accommodation, interaction, and exchange through which bodies come to form as beings. Isolate the core, the interest, the value, the repetition. Changes both the former garment and its newest manifestation. Thus he reveals that the push toward an ideal form is at the expense of the very history that creates a desire for that ideal. Instead, for Margiela, each innovation is a reflection on its place in history of fashion. In this way, his practice parallels a thinking in deconstruction that is able to reflect on the fundamental ambivalence toward philosophical heritage and innovation. The reproduction of idealized truths in spite of the truths maintained by this heritage. That is incorporated into the ground of philosophy. Similarly, deconstruction fashion is an undoing of fashion, where this tarries with an impetus merely to make anew by inflecting this making through a history of its pursuit. The garment and the system producing it. Decontextualization constituting a reverse of traditional haute couture. Diverging from the norm, negation of existing norms. Derrida said, the undoing, decomposing, and disedimenting of structures, in a certain sense more historical than the structuralist movement it called into question, was not a negative operation. Rather than destroying, it was also necessary to understand how an ensemble was constituted and to reconstruct it to this end. However, the negative appearance was and remains much more difficult to efface than is suggested by the grammar of the word D, even though it can be designated as a geological restoration rather than a demolition. Stocking on head with hole for mouth with classic red lips. The most common understanding of deconstruction as simply a form of critiquing the existing order. If I paint a milk bottle red, I won't have deconstructed it. If I wear a nail polish, I won't have deconstructed my sexuality. If I vote conservative in protest of the failures of the parliamentary left, I won't have deconstructed politics. I need to approach deconstruction as a way of thinking and rereading my own practice. It is not a negative event, but rather a reconstructive action. Deconstruction thinking, reconstruction action. Why the use of certain recurring elements and materials? Their inherent meaning, why are they of interest? What am I looking at? Reflection on yesterday's work. It is an absolute mess, aesthetically. I try to isolate fabrics into individual groups. Ping, lace, pinstripe suits, lining, which feels right, but how should I work with them? What am I curious about? What fascinates? I want to take a slow approach, linking to a haute couture connection. What does that say? What do I want to say with that? Or do I even want to say something? Maybe not this time. Maybe I simply need to observe myself working. Acting, reacting, testing out content and reason to be, finding the want to create. I do not excite myself in the work anymore. There is almost resentment, like I do not want to work. But what is it? Where does this dislike belong? I must look inside, check myself, and that can create a diswant because it's difficult and ugly. Just do it, I only do as I fucking preach. Parameters I need to implement. Use existing fabrics mainly. Each gown must involve a transition between body piece and wall piece. The main feature, that means the canvas, must be the base. as I believe it's a clear indication of a painting the wall. Repeatedly used elements in my practice: raw edges, contrasting element, chance, method, symbolically inherent materials. Hyper lace piece. Let foam piece be separate, if it should be part at all. Maybe foam should be incorporated into individual garment. But does it belong? Is it feminine? It is more a piece of function and industry rather than decorative. Maybe it should be used on its own gown, together with plastic maybe. The industrial gown, the waist gown, non-aesthetic gown. As for the frame on the wall for the wall pieces, could it be a torso? I could sculpt and plaster my own torso. At the moment the canvases are simply that, flat canvases. But they can be given shape and form in relation to the body and still be flattened on the wall. It is not informative enough as it is now. Draped sheets of fabric on a wall, not impressive in any sense. Yes, the composition and drape is good on the eye, but so what? What do I get from that? A visual break from the shit, that is. I can see that I need to give it context. I need to add elements of information, such as specific form, detail, such as finishing installation fittings for the wall. Maybe each gown should get its own base. Looking at the collage from MA, the jersey gowns, the base of an oversized sweater is good, with top to bottom opening so I can be flat on the wall. Maybe it doesn't have to flatten completely. The bride from Spring Summer 16. Could a base like that work? But it would need a frame, I think. Feels too easy without the frame. For the suit, the frame can be the construction and the tailoring. Building up the base as you would build up the structure for the suit. Then that would exaggerate the different characters too, making them clearer or giving them more body. Is the only reason for transitioning them into wall pieces so that they might sell easier? Not fucking good enough. I could make frames from hangers. A second lace femi piece with smaller drape pieces making a hyper drape piece like Colette Lumiere. At least one of the gowns should be based on Charles James's muslin gown, no? Friday, 14th of February 2020. Being in the unknown, feeling of resignation towards our species' future, understanding what it is going to do, seeing how it could change but not capable of doing so because we humans are too caught up in a way of living, in capitalism, that we dig our own grave as a species. Exploring the vulnerability we are subjected to in the contemporary world at a universal and individual level. When is a garment not a garment? Sense of the human body, physically ripping, stretching, crushing and tearing the material. Relying on an emotional relationship between strength and fragility, between the beautiful and the broken. Monday, 17th of February 2020. What the fuck? I'm in a foul mood, nothing sits right today. Why is it so fucking hard to work? Where is the struggle? I don't have a hold on it. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have the fucking big picture. Tuesday, 18th of February 2020. Found something yesterday in ruching lengths of lace. I got excited by the volume of the details. I think it has depth that intrigues me, the fold, but it is also the abundance of lace, which represents a fragility but also romanticism and luxury. But the availability of lace, commercialized lace, also has a strong tacky feel to it. I want to keep the lengths loose but attached together with metal hardware. Maybe it should be worn with black crocheted lace trousers and the strips of lace be the wall piece. Another thing on my mind, abstract rework suiting fabric into recognizable suit pieces. Build it up as the suit is built up. Shape it AKT, drape it AKT. Instead of making the shoulders so hard, could it work with the ruches and poofs and scrunches to create a broadness? Proper couture suit gown. Think cuts, neckline, shoulder, lengths. Another piece should be the scrunch. Think forward by looking inward. Look at couture. What does my couture look like? Wednesday, 19th of February 2020. First gown finalized idea-wise, I think. Second lace ruche strips held together with hardware, like a lace in itself. Underneath, curvy curl trousers in black floral lace. On top, either black floral lace top with head mask or sheer black stocking top ripped. Monday, 24th of February 2020. Work on suit today. Diffuse the structure of the suit. Evoke into draping. Keep shoulders, front, details. Remove contour. Keep filling. Look to hyper-feminine lace. Try spray paint lace on canvas. Fix beige lace onto canvas. suit. Contrast the strict and drape. Look 2. Use light blue lace as body-fitting clingy gown. Thursday, 27th of February 2020. Develop thoughts on gown 2 and 3. Lace sheet should be worn way more as drape tests from MA, more casual on the body. So wear it like a harness on top of baby blue lace dress. That will be developed properly into a dress, not just a bodysuit. Sunday, 1st of March 2020. For the lace sheet look, which is looking at hyperfemininity, it's good to use the baby blue lace as it was used for this purpose in Femi. But I want to perfect it somehow. Make it hyper-feminine but more contemporary. I want to add a bit more aggression to it while screaming feminine attributes. Couture it up with athletic features. Tuesday, 3rd of March 2020. Fuck, fuck, fuck. To do, sew baby blue lace, seam it together, finish lace strip, straight dress, cut hood, pink plus sew plus white, cut and sew pink skirt plus design, cut and sew pink lycra top. Wednesday, 4th of March 2020. I woke up at 5:23 and was thinking about work. It's not good enough. It's too calculated and controlled. I need to let it go and get it, whatever the fuck it is, out. So I decided to cut one pink outfit and focus on one and to do it with chance and feel it, the pink. Ruche it in blind, the base dress. And also with the pinstripe, go big. Do not think fashion, fuck fashion. And every day from now on I shall make one tee that reflects the mood and purpose of the work. Being free in the insecurity and fucking restraint. Pinstripe, what do I want to look at here? What does the pinstripe mean to me? Power, male power, crudeness, vile, conservative. Do I want to keep anything? Or go big and loose and wild and drape, drape, drape? Thursday, 5th of March 2020. Dislike, unwant, not excited. What would make me excited? Volume, fucking taking up space. I need to try that with pink, wool and faux. For exhibition, borrow antiques to install garments on, statues, pedestals, mirrors. Thursday, 2nd of April 2020. COVID-19 crisis has put the whole project a bit on hold. Show and exhibition postponed, which put a damper on progression for me, as I probably might have to rethink the whole presentation format as we cannot have groups of people together in space. Have a meeting with Tove today. We'll discuss exhibition in end of May. Regarding exhibition, I'm going to test making body parts as frames. Casting own body parts in plaster and making them in fiberglass. Individual sculptured frames for the garments to be displayed on. Torso wall, torso pedestal, middle fingers up wall piece, curved back and ass. Tuesday, 14th of March 2020. Must focus on draping. Forget about fashion. Forget about garments. Express the emotions and thoughts. Delve into the fold. Go inwards. Focus. Very conflicted regarding work. Lack of wanted inspiration. Not sure what interests me anymore. Monday, 28th of April 2020. Work in progress, no title. Defo developed the garments into ideas. They are too garmenty and dull and with no value. The frames are in, cannot be without. Have to incorporate the gowns and the frames. The blue lace gown must be deconstructed and reassembled. Somehow maybe attached to the torso. Tuesday, 24th of April 2020. Frames, body parts. Middle fingers up, plus lace strips. Classical torso. On your back torso. Ass, head, back, shoulders and tits. Drape torso. Drape bodied and make a cast of it. Small sculptures of fabric and polyester. Saturday, 25th of April 2020. Got inspired by looking at new Schiaparelli process. Made me think how I can combine the real and the reproduced body in a display. How to connect the two. I mustn't forget the gown, the couture approach, as I am also addressing time and invested focus. Real bodies can hold the reproduced bodies in front as parts or accessories. Use connecting materials between the two. Body-aware bodies gown, exploding and draped volume AKT, naked, nude, revisit. Body sculptures, combined on real body with gowns or together becoming gowns, keeping with the original idea where the two elements are equally strong together as well as alone. Now the sculptures are stronger alone. Idea, bust with head in balaclava, shoulder suit focus, shoulder built before cast is made, then refilled and developed after fiberglass polyestered. Idea, extravagant gown fitted base in purple glitter, draped purple see-through above, jeweler pinstripe piece. Idea, breast bra, one breast for one sleeved suit gown. When is the female model being portrayed respectfully and when is she being objectified? Monday, 4th of May 2020. Negligee torso, meaning careless, neglected. Quite like it as cheap looking as it does look now, as there is something easy about the reference. The female body is a night piece, something transparent. Monday, 11th of May 2020. How should each object sculpture be mounted, and the textiles? I must make or find displays. The exposed open torso negligee should be lying down flat. Reclining figures have sometimes historically conveyed a sense of entitlement, elite status and power. The posture gives the impression that somebody is being waited upon, attended to, or served. The reflection. Started to read through the thought process from start of the project and retyping it into a document, unedited. Very meta this. I remember where I was, conflicted and everywhere in my mind, not ready for a deep dive into the core of my practice, if there was even depth enough to dive into. So the text were bare minimum, no brainer, shimmering the surface.